So we are going live right now. Unity of Flagstaff is on the air. So we say welcome. Welcome to all those
Welcome.
that are joining us. Let's see, I'm probably going to make them dance around here, but yeah, I know. It's amazing, isn't it?
Seasick, yeah.
All right. Seasick, yeah. There you go. Okay. So thank you for being here this morning. It is my joy, it is my pleasure to stand here and serve as the minister at Unity of Flagstaff. Kind of a new thing. I'm going to keep saying it till it just feels natural. How many people are comfortable having a conversation about peace? It's a pretty easy thing. Yeah, right? That's easy to talk about.
Sure.
That's what I thought right up until I started working on this talk. You know what? It's an inside job. I have to be committed to being at peace if I am going to be authentic about my commitment to bring peace into the world. It was so much easier when I could just bring peace into the world. It was so much easier when I could just show up, be this really fun kind of gal, because I am, and just say, let's just all get along. Let's just be at peace. It's a lot easier until I had to take responsibility for me being in charge of being at peace with him. And that's not just on the good days, folks. It's not just on the good days. And it's not just when it's easy. Last week we talked about faith, and I have this little saying, it's easy when it's easy, and it's faith when it isn't. I thought, okay, I could use a little quip like that for peace. That would make this easier. Peace is who we are. And so what that means is, if we're doing it halfway, then we're just half of the expression of peace that we're called into on a regular basis. And what this season that we're stepping into is, and what we're inviting ourselves to heighten our awareness about, is birthing the Christ presence within. Now, there's a great story, and it's called the Christmas story. And it is about the birth of a baby. Could there be a more perfect example of peace? Right up until they lose their pacifier. Could there be a more perfect example of peace than the innocence and the beauty of a child? I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. Maybe you have. Share with me after. But it's the perfect backdrop. Do we need to turn me up? Is that why I'm seeing this? Okay, thank you. It's the perfect backdrop to talking about birthing the Christ presence within, and that coming from a place of peace, that being the expression of that peace that resides within us. This is not something we're going to go down to Walgreens and get here at Christmas time. This is coming from within us. We are that expression of peace in everything that we do. And some days I am just better at it than others. Some days I am so peaceful. Usually includes being wrapped up in my warm little house coat with a bowl of soup and a cup of tea. It's really easy to be at peace in that moment. And I cherish those peaceful moments. And then there's, ooh, the electric bill. Ooh, the water bill. Ooh, life. Ooh, diagnosis. Ooh, friend in pain. Where am I at on the peace scale in those moments? And in this season, we get to evaluate that and look at it so that when the next time one of those oohs come up, we get to say, I choose peace. in this right here, right now, I know there is peace within me and I'm going after it. I'm going to go find that and remember that and resonate with that so that when those oohs come along, they're not so scary. And it doesn't change the fact that they hurt or they're uncomfortable or that I don't like them. But what they do is they give me a tool. That peace gives me a tool to process what the world is going to throw at me, and the world is going to throw it at you. I love this time of year, and I love the concept that I get to rebirth the peace within me. And when that happens, when that peace comes, it leads us right to a place of being able to be in unconditional love. Without that peace in front of us, without that recognizing the peace within, we can't be present to an unconditional love. And I don't know about you, but I can't get enough of that. I like being loved unconditionally. And you guys have heard me talk about my grandma, and you know that's going to come up anytime I talk about unconditional love. Everything, every part of the fabric of who I am was influenced and enhanced by love. And sometimes I had to go looking for it. I had to get on my little dirt bike and go to Grandma's house so I could feel that. But it was worth the effort. It's worth the effort in this season to rebirth that sense of peace that resides within you. You will be so available for unconditional love, not only receiving it, but giving it. So welcome to the second candle, and that is love. There is only love. And it comes to us right on the path of peace. It comes to us in this season, and again, when we consider the Christmas story, what could there have been any more of in that manger, in that story, than love? Let me tell you what, Mary had some kind of unconditional love for Joseph, because as I mentioned last week, he said road trip, and she's pregnant. That's unconditional love, folks. To represent the innocence and the peace that that baby represents in that story. That's love. That's the expression. And the road has been opened because we have stepped into a place of peace that we can unconditionally love ourselves first. The commandment is love your neighbor as yourself. Do you see the order of that? Do you get the command? To love ourselves unconditionally first so that we can, in fact, be that for the people in our lives. That we can show up in this amazing way that expresses the Christ consciousness within us. Now, what is this Christ consciousness? I keep saying this, and I thought, well, maybe not everybody is tuned into what that means. I'm going to get some water. It's dry here. It is dry here. I just moved from Southern California. It's humid there. I'd have to have a cloth, instead of a cup of water. So, let's talk about Christ consciousness. What is the Christ consciousness or the Christ presence that we talk about in unity? Metaphysically, what it is the Christ, because if you remember, Christ is not Jesus's last name. the Christ presence is the divine human. How do you feel about getting more of that in your life? There are days that there are a lot of people that tell you I could use a lot more divine human. I don't know about you, but that is true for me. But the Christ is the divine human within. And Jesus, the man, was the expression of that divine human. And he said, love your neighbor as yourself. He was the teacher and the way shower and the baby that invited us into that magical story. And in Unity, we teach the Christ presence is being birthed in us in this season. But the really cool thing is, unlike the shopping and the wrapping and the food and the gatherings and the parties, that'll all go away. That'll all stop. But the rebirthing of the Christ presence goes on. It's infinite. You can't get too much of it. You cannot be too much of a divine human. You cannot out-express the God within you. God is going to show up 100% all the time. And I'm going to step in with my divine human. And some days I'll be 30%. Some days I'll be 50. Some days I'll be 90. And every time that I'm willing to step into that divine human and be that expression of that Christ presence, I give everybody around me permission. They just happen to give me a microphone to do it. I give everybody around me permission to do that. That's our work, folks. First, we step into that place of remembering where that peace resides within us, no matter what's happening. And there are things that happen. There are things that hurt out like that. There are things that just don't go as we plan. But the peace resides within you. Unlike the decorations and the parties, that doesn't leave you. And from that place of peace, we can then step into that unconditional love and expression of the Christ presence within. What a cool, easy formula. Now, don't forget, last week we talked about faith. So all of this is premised on that. I don't know if you remember the acronym. FAITH, F-A-I-T-H, fully allowing it to happen. Fully allowing it to happen. I got a million of them. They just drop in. It's unbelievable. I love it. I'm serious.
No.
You guys do know. Fully allowing it to happen. And when you are resting in that place of saying, you know what? I've had some really good ideas in my time, and I can tell you how they turned out. If I step back just a little and say, I'm allowing this to happen and unfold in the divine way that this divine human can see it and receive it. And when I am based on that premise of faith, our first Sunday of Advent last week, I can step into and recognize that door that says peace on it that is so deep within me. And it's just a simple little show. And through that door of peace, you will walk. And right there, within that room of peace, you will find the unconditional love that will cause you to shine so brightly, not only in this season, but all days of your life. And you will be the expression of that Christ presence within. This is a really good gig. This is a great gig we got going as divine humans. Don't you think?
Yeah.
And if you need an anchor, if you need to remember this, we live in one of the most beautiful places, and I've lived in a lot of beautiful places. This is an amazing place, especially when we reach up and we look into the night sky and we start to search for that answer that we think we don't have. I want you to remember this. Every star that you see there was put there for your guidance. Every path is lighted by the faith that you hold and the peace that you reside in and the love that you hold for yourself and for those around you as the expression of the Christ presence within. I love this job. I love this job. I think that's enough.